Hello, and welcome to this week's Abuse Cartoons stream. So this week we are trying to use Restream.io again because they have Japanese servers now. So hopefully that's going to give us the ability to be on Twitch and YouTube at the same time. I'd kind of gone back and forth and had tried to use this previously. Had tried to use this service previously, but the servers were in Korea or Southern California, and they were just too slow. So I'm a little slower than usual, it looks like, but not too bad. So I think this may work. So please feel free to let me know how this is going, and I'll take a look at it from the archive on both and see what we're looking at. But we should, yeah, Twitch is really slow. We should be able to. Oh, oh no, I'm logged in as something else. Okay. Okay. Sorry about that. Just give me a second here. I am unprepared to be doing this on two platforms at the same time. Oof, okay. All right. Yeah, it seems to be okay, and I will now be fixing my... There we go. Okay, so that seems to be working, and let's try it from over here. Well, that's not working, but it's good enough. So the Twitch chat is working, and I'll just pay attention to YouTube by itself. And sorry if the volume's a little loud there. The mic's real close. Wow. So as I was setting this up, and I've been struggling with scheduling this. I'm not sure, the best time. And I think the middle of the day now is pretty late at night for, most of the US. So it's not that convenient. But the thing that occurred to me is that streaming is becoming, and I know people stream spontaneously. They just kind of pop up online. But there are a lot of channels that are very regular that I get notifications from a few Twitch channels that I follow that are on, that stream 6 p.m. Every night. They're very on schedule, and I think that's filling some sort of hole in people's kind of viewing life, because it's the new. So what I thought was it's the new appointment TV. We are free now to record or stream a lot of television and movies, so we don't have to be at home at a certain time to watch something. But streaming is kind of recreating that urgency, or that you have to be tied to a device. And that's the nice thing about streaming, is that you can watch it on mobile devices, but you're tied to a device, or you're tuning in to watch something live at a specific time. And some people have even incentivized that by giving, like, their stream is their show is a paid show, it's a subscription show, but their stream is a live the live streaming is free. So if you tune in at that time, you get to watch it for free. And then if you subscribe to it, you pay for their archive basically, or you can watch it at any time. And so that's interesting. I thought that thing kind of went away with television and DVRs, and being able to just kind of time shift to wherever it's convenient, and to binge watch things and things like that. But streaming seems to be bringing back the appointment, day and time style of viewing. And that's interesting. I mean, obviously there's a different component because you're having live interaction with somebody. So if you want access to somebody, or the interaction or the input on what they're doing, or criticism or whatever, but the social aspect of it, then it's that changes. It's not as passive as watching a television show at 8 o'clock or something like that. But when that occurred to me, I thought that was interesting. It's the hangout and the appointment are kind of coming back into people's entertainment, and I don't think we really realized we liked that. And that was something I've kind of felt that with music, music programming and like music radio stations. You know, back in the day when radio was the biggest way to get music and listen to new music, the programming of radio stations was always a nice thing, because you discovered things you didn't know. Somebody like worked harder than you did at finding new music and things. And now with the internet, you know, you can do that yourself, but still there's a you know, there's a lot of enjoyment of something that's curated for you, or something that's kind of, you know, programmed or constructed for you. So even when they have like the Mystery Science Theater marathons and they, you know, choose episodes, and I think now it's like a fan vote kind of thing most often, but when they choose episodes and things, it's, those choices are enjoyable, and they may not be what you chose, but you kind of enjoy the yeah, that being the case, and, you know, maybe suffering through or just skipping something that you don't like, but being presented with other people's choices, or kind of thoughtful curating or thoughtful programming, I think is an important part. And that's something that the internet is a little bit of an enemy of. There's not as many, you know, friendly places. There's not as many situations where, you know, you can have that kind of content. It's mostly just, you know, when you look at all of the movie streaming, Amazon and Netflix and Hulu, it's just a mess. And they kind of, with their little algorithms, and you might also like kind of things, they try to recommend things or suggest things, but for the most part, it doesn't work very well. That thing on Netflix where you get, you know, this is a 94% match, or this is a 72% match, you know, based on things you've previously watched. And if you've got multiple people, you know, if you're not switching accounts all the time, but, you know, you're just kind of watching things together, people have very different choices. And so that match thing gets really out of control. And also, you know, you have specific tastes, but you have different moods. So you'll obviously just watch garbage, or watch something you've watched 100 times. Again, on a streaming service, because it's free and it's just there. It's just like, you know, eating another plate of, you know, chicken nuggets at a, you know, buffet. It's not, you're not enjoying it, but it's just there and it's free. So I think that mentality and that all you can eat kind of, you know, streaming situation makes you a little bit more careless with your choices. And so if they're so carefully watching what you're choosing, they're not getting very good information, or they're not being able to, you know, separate what your tastes are from what your, you know, laziness or your guilty pleasures or whatever are. But all right, so everything seems to be going okay here. So yeah, I just, that occurred to me when I was getting everything set up, and I think that's a very interesting idea. Now I'm gonna have to move things around. I got windows covering windows, so I can't see everything. Okay, so I'm just going to assume. Actually, let me take a second and hear what the sound is like in a couple of situations here, so I know that I'm not blowing out the sound of the speakers. Yeah, okay, that works. All right, so we seem to be picking up both on Twitch and YouTube with some decent quality, the video quality. So the camera's upgraded, and now we've got a local restreaming server in Japan. So yeah, things should be going a bit better as far as making this more available. That's nice. It took a little while, but not too long. I discovered, or maybe they were, you know, just promoting this restreaming service, and they didn't have a lot of options. I mean, I think they probably went with the big gamers. You know, they probably went with Korea and America because of what's going on there, because those are the big streaming countries, especially for gaming. So you can't blame them for that. But it's nice that Japan was soon to follow. I was a little bit worried that it wasn't going to happen anytime soon, and I was just going to be stuck with having to choose, because, you know, there's pros and cons of both platforms. I'm not a huge fan of either platform. I think they've both got their ridiculousness and their kind of automated stupidity that's built in to the systems. And, you know, and they're trying to obviously push content in certain ways and push you to use the service in certain ways. And not a big fan of that. I don't know what I mean, I'm sure it's based on advertising and bandwidth and all that kind of thing. They want to get the best quality content, or the most viewers, or the most, you know, advertiser friendly streamers. So I guess you can't blame them for that. It's their platform and they're trying to make money. I think the mistake that we make, and that a lot of the technology companies let us make, is we still have this, you know, odd benevolent image of these companies. They're just here to provide an awesome service, to let all these awesome things happen in the world. And, you know, they don't stop you from thinking that about them. But at the same time, you know, you do realize that it's all just a money-making thing. And if they've tricked you into thinking that they've got some, you know, pro-humanitarian, you know, so some sort of, you know, ultimately good motivations that are just based on the goodness of their heart and not their bottom line, I think that's a little ridiculous. We've got, yeah, just that whole mentality with a lot of the technology companies. And so people, you know, kind of their thinking you know, starts from that place. Well, why would they do that? Or you know, the complaints are kind of based on, well, they should just give us this, because, you know, that's how they've kind of characterized themselves, as being a service that's, you know, we just want to make your gaming experience, or your, you know, your streaming experience, or your life as, you know, wonderful as possible with our service. And so I think that's very confusing for a lot of people, because wow, my keyboard's shortcuts are kind of not, something must be chewing on my CPU right now. Okay, yeah, so that's a little strange. Oh, I'm stuck in some nightmare here. Okay, there we go. Yeah, so that's a little strange when people are criticizing. And the same thing happens with, you know, criticism of a lot of, you know, media companies and things. They're not, you know, just because they tell you heartwarming stories, or they create cute characters or whatever, doesn't mean that they are good people. And I think that's the same way, you know, that there's a lot of discussion now of separating, you know, art from the artist, and the person that creates something, if he's responsible for, you know, power abuse, or, you know, he's, you know, done some unacceptable things, how does that reflect on his work? And should you think differently or feel differently about his work? And I guess that's just an individual kind of decision, because, you know, there are some things that once you know about someone, it's hard to get past that. It's hard to, you know, so especially with you know, music or film or books or whatever, if you know something about someone, about their proclivities or their tastes or their kind of bad behavior, and then you see those sorts of things pop up in their work, or, you know, it can persuade you, or kind of color your view of them. And you know, so any appearance of a teenage girl in a Woody Allen movie is a bit suspect. You know, those sorts of things can happen, and I guess it's you know, varies from from viewer to viewer, reader to reader, fan to fan, whether or not that's enough to bother them, whether that's enough for them to stop, being a fan of that person. Okay. All right. Well, I'm happy that this worked out. I thought this was going to be a 10-minute test like the last time. I think I was online for 5 minutes trying to restream, and the quality was so bad that I just had to quit and skip that week because I had everything set up for the restreaming service, and yeah, it wasn't going to be easy to switch back over, but it seems to be okay. Oh yeah, so so that's an interesting thing, and I'm forgetting where that came from, talking about the person, the artist in the person. But yeah, it's a very subjective thing. I think it's up to your up to your personal tolerances. I mean, just the same way that, if you've had a relative die of cancer, or if you've been with someone struggling, and struggled through a horrible experience with cancer, there's nothing ever funny or you're when stories are about that, you're hyper aware or hypersensitive to that sort of thing. And yeah, I think that's true with a lot of situations. And it's not that then people shouldn't be allowed to joke or write about that. It's just that, you have to be more aware of what's going to kind of push you too far, or kind of make you uncomfortable, your own sensitivities and your own tolerances. I think that's not a unreasonable thing to ask people to do, is to be able to know, what is too much for them or what makes them uncomfortable, and just not consume that or just not deal with that. I mean, once you're a parent, always the, things involving, child murder or child rape or, any sort of child violence is much more horrifying than it would have been, just a few years ago. Let me fix this a little bit. So, you can feel that right away when you're a parent, that it's apparent when you're a parent that your sensitivities have changed. And that doesn't mean that, people can't or shouldn't, tell those stories or make those movies anymore. You just have to kind of be aware and know that you're not going to be a very objective audience for something like that, that you're just going to, your switch is flipped, your button is pushed, and you're just gonna kind of overreact to those sorts of things. Sorry, I should have just, lined this up a little bit more simply. Sometimes the wonkiness of this I find it charming, and other times it's annoying and ugly. So we'll see which one this is. But yeah, usually I think that's the bad habit. So the original idea for this, and why I liked this kind of clumsy, awkward style, is because it was a Sharpie marker on paper, and you committed to every line you drew, and so I would throw away cartoons that just didn't turn out, but it made me very particular, very specific. And when things were a little bit clumsy, that was still just part of the medium. And now that I've switched to digital, I'm redrawing and kind of cheating that whole process. So yeah, I think I've stuck to my rules about humor with this cartoon, and not changed my thinking about how I should write the humor of it. But I definitely have cheated the process, and that's unfortunate. I mean, I think that's at the same time, I think not taking advantage of doing it digitally would be silly. But yeah, I definitely understand that I'm doing something a little awkward now. I don't know what would be a good analogy for it, but it's, creating something digitally that doesn't have a big reason to, and actually benefited more from being analog. So we'll see. But dealing with scanners was so miserable. Ugh. That whole situation, I forget when that was, like mid 2000s, maybe 2010 already. maybe, yeah, maybe late 2000s, where Adobe and whoever, they just dumped the, what was that, the Twain Acquire kind of driver that they used so you could scan things into Photoshop. And so you had to use a bunch of third-party, you know, Canon or Epson or whoever made your scanner. You had to use their software and then create that file and then open it. And that's just ridiculous. I mean, that was, I hated dealing with scanners already, and then making that two-step process was just ridiculous. I don't know what that was. I don't know what that thinking was, but, you know, Adobe has just made a series of horrible decisions in the past 10 years. I mean, their software hasn't had any major improvements. They're just complicating it with 3D and just random nonsense, and then turning it into a service instead of a piece of software. So now it's a subscription. Just all that stuff is so nauseating. And we just accept that and deal with it and whatever. But I think that's, you know, that's really frustrating, because they've became the de facto. I mean, there are people that struggle with GIMP or Corel Painter or whatever it is now. I don't think Corel owns it anymore. But there are people that struggle with alternatives, and, you know, it's still the best software, but it hasn't innovated or done much of anything in a long time. I don't think the cloud can be considered a major accomplishment when there was already so much cloud backup. I mean, everybody was backing up all of their work by cloud and being able to share it and, you know, do work groups or whatever with that already. So yeah, I don't even know. I don't know. It's all of that kind of thing. But yeah. So, wow, I'm really, I think I've had enough caffeine yet today to be focused. So I'm just kind of wildly rambling. Yeah, what's another? Okay, I guess we'll do this. Yeah, because I was thinking about the kids version of various vices. So I remember there was, you know, bubblegum, chewing tobacco, and bubblegum cigarettes, and, you know, things like that. And I think some kids drank, at least in my generation, drank root beer just because there was the word beer was in the name, so it felt like one of those mature situations. Those, you know, things for kids that were, you know, imitations of adults. But yeah, I do remember, did love me some Big League Chew though. That it was like a big pouch. It was just, you know, sticks of bubblegum flavored chewing gum. That it was sticks that they just cut, you know, they just kind of shredded. They cut horizontally, so it was just little, you know, fibers, bubblegum fibers, and that was just, I mean, because it was soft and you could kind of control. The nice thing about it, and it had nothing to do with what it was simulating, but you could just grab a handful of it. So right away, instead of like having to open multiple sticks of gum, you just grabbed as much as you want. And I don't think I've had the most gum in my mouth in my whole life just from grabbing the biggest handful of Big League Chew you could hold, because you may be putting like 4 or 5 sticks of gum in your mouth at the same time. And they had different flavors and things, and it had a little pouch, a little kind of foily pouch you rolled up. So I don't know if they even still make that, and probably if they don't, it's because of that reason, because, you know, there's complaints of it, the simulation of, you know, tobacco, you know, basically familiarizing kids with something that was going to give them lip and gum cancer in the future was not, yeah, looked well upon by parents. I think parents groups, especially, I guess, starting in the 80s, got a whole lot more, yeah, frustrating with, you know, how they, what they thought was unacceptable from companies. And it's funny because a lot of that comes from you know, parents wanting companies to do their job. You know, they want them to parent for them because they're busy at work. So, and of course, you know, there's definitely an argument that you don't want kids to start in elementary school saying, I can't wait until I can have real chewing tobacco. But at the same time, I think a lot of it was just lazy parenting and latchkey kids, you know, not being at home. So parents having to, you know, or parents groups, you know, having companies, you know, parent for them so they didn't have to make any decisions or even pay attention to what their kids were doing. But yeah, I remember bubblegum cigarettes. Bubblegum cigarettes and bubblegum chewing tobacco. And I don't know if we're going to go. You just, yeah. Oh, that should actually be a pull tab. With as old as these things are, this should probably not be a push tab, but a pull ring. And that's dating myself right there, if anybody knows. So I'll draw one. I don't know if I'm going to actually switch it to this. Maybe I will. But I'll draw one so you can see what I'm actually talking about. But in the 70s, I think it stopped in the late 70s, early 80s. But all soda cans had a pull ring, and the ring was shaped. I'll kind of draw. I guess I'll just draw it head on so you can kind of see. Their ring was an aluminum ring that was just kind of shaped somewhat like this. So it didn't have any sharp edges. And then it had kind of a little rivet in it that connected it to the other piece of aluminum that was the so if you could remove it without bending it, it would probably look like the size of the opening, so something like this. But inevitably, to get it off, you had to pull it back, you know, just like the, you know, cans of cat food or whatever may still have that sort of thing. So the whole lid, you bend the whole lid when you pull it up. So the tab inevitably would do, let's see, how do I want to do this? Would kind of do this, maybe this on you, and give you a little curly part. And so I think part of the reason that they got rid of this is, along with cigarette butts, this was the thing that was clogging, you know, every gutter along every sidewalk in all the streets and suburbs in America. I remember you could, you know, because people would just, every time they opened a cafe, they're walking and, you know, drinking a soda, they open the ring and they just throw the ring because that's right. Because the only other thing that people would do with it is stick it into the can full of beverage, full of liquid. And I still remember some stupid 70s like emergency 911 or whatever, one of those you know, paramedics shows that was popular in the 70s. I still remember the choking that one of the calls that they responded to was a guy that stuck the ring in his beer and drank the beer and then choked on it. He like lodged it in his throat. So yeah, so I always remember that as a cautionary tale. I always was very afraid of that happening, but that was the only thing you could do, you know, unless you were by a trash can or whatever. But that was really the only thing you could do. I don't know if I have to deal with that yet. To not, you know, throw it on the ground because you weren't going to put it in your pocket or whatever. And I remember as kids, we would collect those, and you could take the this bottom part of the ring and bend it over. So if you had two of these, oops, not two of those, two of these. So you could bend, I'll have to do with the cursor here, you can bend this part of the ring around this one and chain them together. So I remember kids making like chain mail or bracelets or whatever from these aluminum things. And the little tab itself was a little bit sharp. So not something, you know, too deadly, but also not something you'd want to mess around with too much. I think I need to draw that in perspective. I can't squish that into perspective. But yeah, so that was a so yeah, what the heck, I'll revise that can and make it an old 70s style. And I think actually the lip is going to be a little bit wrong now too, but oh well. I'll date myself and see if any sharp-eyed fans notice. But yeah, that was a big it's a big nostalgia thing. And also, I mean, they must have just done that for when littering stopped being a acceptable social practice. Yeah, I think it was just like that. So oh, actually no, it was it was much more teardrop shaped. Yeah, like that. Okay, we'll go with that. Wow. Yeah, part of the days when there are simulated adult vices for kids. Wow. Yeah, that's pretty nostalgic. All right. So let's we'll stick with that for the first one. And we'll go to the other one this week. See what other ideas are there. So I didn't quite overdraw on that one, so there's nothing to really start with here. Oh, but yeah, that's a full of nostalgia. If I do that, yeah, there we go. I'll try to do it this way so you don't have to look at my lovely local time and my icons and everything. So we're just kind of only focusing on wonderful Photoshop. Okay, sorry to drink in the microphone. I always mean to lean back. I know some people that sound really bothers them. I apologize. At least I'm not eating a sandwich or drinking or eating soup or something even more horrible. All right, so let's just keep going with some other little ideas here. Yeah, so hopefully I'm figuring this out. I mean, I understand that, you know, the streaming has to be a bit of a hang, and so it will definitely be better to get some, you know, multiple voices, or you know, to have people with me doing the stream. Although it's a little bit difficult because I'm kind of doing it during my work time, and so many other creative people I know are in day jobs and kind of stuck. So the only thing we could end up doing is doing it after their work, after their Japanese time work schedule, which would be crazy early in the morning. So it would just be the same kind of situation where it was just everything was just going directly to archives, and there wasn't a lot of interaction during the actual streaming time. So yeah, not sure how to solve that, but I'll keep thinking about yeah, what works best. And eventually maybe I'll just luck into something. I'll luck into a situation, or, you know, keeping things on multiple platforms and stuff may help. So hopefully that will yeah, keep things going. I did just read, I haven't actually checked, sorry, it's how much I'm paying attention, but I haven't actually checked my Twitch account, but I did see that Twitch was apologizing for deleting everybody's highlights. So I know a lot of people use the trick of they stream, and if you're just a regular account, I think after 2 weeks, Twitch just deletes the video, but it maintains your highlights. I think it keeps the video longer if you're a Prime member, or, you know, there's a partner or a Prime member, you have longer, the video stays longer. But for the highlights, it was supposed to stay, you know, indefinitely, or a bit longer or something. And I saw that they said there was a mistake with their system, and it deleted a bunch of people's highlights, which is interesting because how hard would it be just to bring those back? I'm not, you know, I don't know the ins and outs of Twitch, but it seems like it wouldn't. But maybe they are constantly, you know, if when something is considered deleted, it's immediately written over. You know, they're using such an array of of servers or whatever, that might be the case, but I don't know. So yeah, I guess the background's a little blown out today, but oh well. You can just imagine the brightly colored people. It's actually a pretty nice day today, pretty sunny. Maybe that's why it's so blown out and behind me. To this, hey, the keyboard shortcuts. So yeah, I have a frame that says "Be right back," and of course, with my streaming software, it cues to the first letter of whatever your scenes are. So I'm hitting B for brush, and I'm telling you I'll be right back. So I keep doing that. I haven't moved that tape yet, though. So this piece right here, this little piece of tape that's holding my video frame up there, it hasn't moved in a while. So I'm glad. I've got a couple of streams where that's archived, where you've got 4 pieces of tape, you know, right in the middle of the screen the whole time. So the same effect as I'm doing with this up here, just kind of taping that to the screen. Yeah, so those are on separate layers and kind of floating around. But anyhow, okay, let's just keep drawing here. Yeah, I'm having kind of pen control problems recently. I'm losing the kind of character of the line, drawing like a little bit heavy, or yeah, it's been a little odd recently. I'm not sure what that is. Maybe just tired, a little fatigue. Oh, circular ice. Yeah, that's always nice. You know, it's a classy joint when they serve you scotch or whiskey on the rocks, and it's one big circle of ice. Ugh, I guess I should distort that. I'm going to get weird thickness problems in the line, but let's see. Almost a circle. Kinda. Oh, and that would actually just fit in there. All right. Circular ice cubes. All right, yeah, let's do that. We'll have a confrontation between ice cubes, which I won't make those long kitchen refrigerator ice cube trays, those little square ice cubes. Put these on different layers. Ice cubes and an ice. A sphere of ice? An ice ball? Oh, that's not good. Can't remember if the ice looks better if I don't put black lines on it or not. Probably not, but oh well. I can color those as well. One more. So drawing ice cubes. Yeah, I had a few. I wonder, especially for creative Twitch, I had a bunch of people pop in right away, maybe because it said is now online and people wanted to see what it is. And when it's not, wow, it's my favorite fandom or whatever, people just click off if I'm not drawing Overwatch art or whatever. People are just not interested. Ugh, original ideas, go away. Yeah, that's a I've already complained about fandoms enough, I guess, but that is such an odd thing. The love of fandoms, and just I don't think there's really been any. I mean, so many of the interactions that people have with artists, which would basically be like, Comic-Cons or anime conventions or whatever. That's the norm, is just to have them, ask them, because they are work for hire artists for the most part, just have them draw other people's work or draw what they're famous for. It's not a character they created. They're work for hire artists. So just draw something that they spend their whole day drawing anyhow. And yeah, so you get a lot of that. And people think that that's what an artist does, then just that's hard for me to kind of get my head around. The yeah. Oh, come on, go away. Just the yeah, the idea that that's what you should want, or you don't want original stories and images and ideas. And it's odd, it's interesting, because I think the internet is basically, a lot of illustration is either fandom work or concept art. Those are kind of the two things, because concept art is high visual impact, high wow factor, and a lot of it is just photo derivative, and just because it's quick concept work. And so, but it's got a real dramatic appeal to it, because basically they're giving you inspirational images for filmmaking or 3D or game design or whatever. They're giving you inspiration, so it has to be very wow and very inspirational. So but that's weird, that it seems like that's the majority of the work that you find on the internet now, is fandom and concept art. And maybe just because I read too many game blogs or whatever, I'm just so tired of looking at people's concept art. It's just a cool looking thing that is never going to be anything unless they were doing it for a movie that was actually going to be produced. But so much of this stuff is just concepts, just random, never completely thought through concepts. So it looks cool, and that's the it's a big handicap. I remember the I forget which commentary it was, but some Zack Snyder film, and how many times that was cool, this is cool, we thought this would be cool, came up in the commentary. It's like, wow, that's conversation that happens on a film set, with producers and things. Yeah, isn't this cool? Yeah, it's gonna look really cool. That's a death of creativity, I think, in a lot of ways. People aren't gonna get very far if... Oh yeah, so yeah, I think this needs to be the Glass deciding, right? He's kind of trapped in between these worlds. Yeah, something like that might work. All right. Yeah, we'll go with something like that. It's not brilliant, but now there's got to be a keyboard shortcut for switching me between open documents, but I don't know what that is. Okay, so let's color some of this and see what we have. Should compose this a little. Yeah, this is just chaos. So let's kind of move stuff around here. I liked how this was already going. So let's put some of these. Oh, I wonder if I can get away with just perspective on this tab. Nope, not that. No, it's gonna look weird. Ooh, yeah. Nope. I'm not sure. Yeah, so maybe the only one I can use is this guy, and he's already scaled a little big. All right, and the cigarette, and the oh, good. I drew the. Unlike the cigarette, I drew the pouch and everything together. So this can actually kind of just lay in that weird curly way that they used to lay. And the can, and where's the pouch again? There she is. Yeah, I think that'll work. The weird simulation of adult devices. I think I might have to label this. It might not be clear what this pouch is representing, so I might have to write chew or something on there so people kind of get that. And I think that tab has to still go down in size a little bit. All right, let's go with that. Maybe both the cigarette. Oh no, where is all this? Okay, cigarette, all these guys could be a little bit bigger. And then the can, a little bit taller. I can't even, it's so strange, the scale of a soda can, because I remember holding, you know, as a kid, you hold soda cans with two hands. And now a soda can is so small, that standard, however many ounces that is, 16 ounces or whatever, is so small. But yeah, so strange. Okay, so yeah, I'll put some color on these and see what we got. Yeah, and the color should help a bit. Kind of find a nice pinky bubble gum. All right. Oh yeah. What are we not doing? We're not using all layers. Okay. And I think I'll just make the... I think they did have, like, I remember paper or powder on these little guys to make them more... yeah, I think they did actually have some kind of paper on them to make them, you know, look more like cigarettes. Can I hit that? Obviously not. And I'll just do something like that. Pinky paper. Yeah, I can't remember. But I'll do these. Yeah, I think actually there was a little bit of a color difference between the ring and the tab. I can't remember. Thought so, because you know you don't want the ring to break. The ring can't break. So, yeah, not sure about that. And that's the fun. That's where all the mystery is. And let's just do a bright pink. This is going to be a very pink cartoon. We'll just do the package as... Oh, it's got a leak. We'll do the package as pink. And maybe I'll do like a Marlboro motif or something fun. Something funny. Alright. Yeah, that would actually be hysterical. So I'll do that. And maybe just the inside is white-ish. Yeah, that should have leaked out. Okay, and then let's come up with a bright pink. Not quite that pink. Chew. And something a little bit friendlier looking than that. Maybe a little cartoony. What do we have? Look at all the fonts. Sorry, this has to be the least interesting thing ever. No. Huh. I thought I liked that. Let's see. Sorry, I'll just try to find. This has got to be so thrilling on the stream. Oh, it is kind of a baseball thing. Yeah, something like that. That's what I was thinking. So just make that a raster image and then maybe do this to it. And then I can drag it onto the label a little bit more. I'm sure with all these amazing new Photoshop tools, there's incredible ways to do this, but I'll just do it like this. Yeah, something like that. That works. Okay, and now we have all of the... Oh no. Where's the color? The color's in this layer? Yeah, great. Whatever. Wow, what a day. Okay, and so I want to do like a band on here. Yeah, I forget how they kind of baseball colored it. Maybe I'll do a little green field or something at the bottom here. It had a bit of a baseball look. I know there was a big character. There's a big, cartoon character of blowing a bubble. And what about the soda? The pop, depending on your regional. Grape, or should I just do root beer? Yeah, I'm trying to think. I can't even remember what a can of root beer looks like. Yeah, maybe just do kind of the reddish, that reddish and dark brown, or yeah, something like that. Try to do the kind of a root beer look. Orange and black or orange and brown. Just to make sure that it looked as the can looked as unappetizing as the actual beverage tasted. Ugh, never a root beer fan. I know that's blasphemy to some of you. I apologize. That's just how I was raised. I don't know. Root beer. Boom. And then we'll do like a... Yeah, that'll be our root beer design. Oh, that's right. I want to do a little funny Marlboro kind of look for the... Something like that. Go away, menu. Something like that. I'm faking it. Yeah, it's the kids version. It's not very good. It's never very well done for the kids. Something like that. All right. That works. So they were all hysterical. Kid-friendly versions of adult vices. Yay. Let's put some rendering on that. Oh. All right. What now? Okay. Something like that, and then all this Whoa, whoa, whoa. Where is that? Oh, here, here. Why don't I have that? Okay, there it is. Alright, something like that works. Big League Chew. Yeah, in case you didn't guess, that's what I'm kind of going for, is the Big League Chew look. Yeah, that's not going to be enough, is it? We have to go white. Yeah, to give it the more candy look. And yeah, definitely have to go white on these aluminum rings. And I always do that. I guess I could just turn the pattern off if I did it on a separate layer, but I always seem to do that to make it more difficult than it has to be to render certain things. Oops, not at all. Oh no. Okay, let's go back here. Get rid of that. I guess I could do it through history, but that should be good enough. Okay, so why was that blowing out? Okay, there. It shouldn't have been. And then just the kind of shadows on the back of the containers. And I guess that whole, this whole side too. Something like that. Doesn't have to be so extreme, but something like that should work. All right. All right. Yeah, didn't make that much difference, but enough. Okay. So, give this a little more reflection. And do something on this cigarette. Oh, I'm not selected anymore. That's good. I can just go back and do this stuff then. There we go. Yeah, so, wow, I can't believe I lost my momentum already. Apologies for that. Not much conversation happening. I guess that always happens once I start focusing on the coloring and kind of, yeah, some of those choices, I guess, make it hard to talk while I'm considering, oh, what's going on here? Considering everything. Yeah, I just want to make that a little more metallic, and maybe this can too. Just so it's a little more interesting. There we go. Yeah, I think this is too much. Wrong layer. Yeah, this is a little excessive. Okay. Something like that. All right, let's see how this looks. Whoa, that was nice. Shifted all the shadows. Okay, that works. Wow. Wow, wow, wow. I still haven't figured that out. That's not a problem a lot of you are going to have to be worrying about, but the changing your keyboard language accidentally with a shortcut, that happens a lot. Because that affects how the how the shortcuts are read. Now maybe here. Then it'll look like a funny mouth. Okay, there we go. Kids' version of Adult Vices. Okay, yeah, this is going to be hard to make this one very interesting. Is that everything? Yes. So I guess I'll try some bluish blue. Try to make things look icy. Same with these guys. So their shaded sides will be blue. And then give them some, oh, I guess this would be blue too. Give them some lines. Yeah, so make sure all of those. Ugh, and the glass itself, I guess I'll just render with the shadows. But then I'll take this down a little bit because that's a little too much. That's okay. Stop with that. Okay. And then actual light shadow. I'll try to get more of that blue to show up. Yeah, something like that. Oh, thought I was black and white, but I'm black and blue. Try some visual interest in there a little bit with the ice cubes. Yeah, that's right. I usually do a little bit, if I can do that here, but those little, yeah, something like that. Oh, maybe put liquid in the glass itself, because there's no color in this at all. Looks a little odd. Okay, then maybe just this and a lighter. See how that looks. Maybe go the whole way. Okay, and then maybe a little. Okay. There we go. Yeah, don't want to make it too glass-like, but yeah, I think that'll work. I think that works. I'm yeah and yepping still. Ooh, that's not gonna work. Yeah, those are some very crystal clear ice cubes, but yeah, visually I think that's the best thing to do. Yeah, there we go. Maybe a little bit bigger. And now do some eyes on everything. There we go. All right, now we just have to write these. And here's the part where I don't know how much I should talk and how much I shouldn't. It's very strange, possibly. Okay. So they were from an age of a kid's version of adult vices. Actually, I should maybe also do beer here. Oh, come on, it didn't save that. Of course it didn't. I forget where that chubby little font was that I was using. Of course it didn't save it. That's ridiculous. Thanks. Thanks, Photoshop, for being a pal. What's going on? Give me the size. Yeah, great. Oh, come on. This should have gone a lot better. That's ridiculous that it doesn't keep my stupid font that the last used font. You gotta be kidding me with that. Wow. I need to change the name of this to Guy Yells at Photoshop. That's gotta be a thrilling thing to watch. Okay, I'm not getting the... Yeah, something like that. And here maybe I will... No, I just want that in here. Give me this, thank you. And then I'm doing that lovely warp text thing. And as you can see, oh, the bend this way, so 0, okay, gotcha, 0, 0, just bend that a little bit, make it a little bit bigger, and then cut it off, okay, something like that. Oh, actually, though, that doesn't make a lot of sense. Ah! That doesn't make a lot of sense with the label design. I just push it down here a little bit. There we go. Whatever. That's nuts. All right. Okay. A kid's version of adult vices. Were the long forgotten. So I'm going to be wrong about this. I'm sure these are still popular everywhere, just not in annoying suburbs. They were the long, or I guess gated communities, they were the long forgotten kids version of adult vices. So do kids oh boy, let's find out. Okay. Sorry, just checking my, I don't even know where I am on camera here. Checking my grammar here, because people love to make an issue. The comments always get filled of misspellings and grammar, although misspellings are pretty unforgivable. But let's see here. Oh yeah, that's not the regular form of the word. Yeah, I guess either is okay, but just not what I'm doing, I guess. Huh? Let's try that. They were the long forgotten kids version. Kids version of adult vices. Yeah, root beer is definitely going to get some complaints. I'm sure there's root beer fanatics. Yeah, he's definitely sad about this. Oh, sorry. All right. Oh, and I should have them all melting all over the place. Actually, that would be much funnier too. I'll add that. Unable to choose. Whiskey? I don't know. No, unable to choose. He decided to remain. Oh, come on. Neat. Boom. Okay. Unable to choose, he decided to remain. Neat. Whatever. I don't think that's very good. That's very silly. Or maybe silly is good. I can't remember. Okay. And let's do some. Yeah, do a little bit of melting. These guys can have a nice big puddle. Alright, just turn off all that. See if that'll fill. Yay. Yeah, I'm not gonna go crazy. Stop with this. Boom. But I will put a little bit of rendering on it so it stands out a little bit. Put a little so the water looks wet. There we go. Maybe he gets a little bit more on the side of the glass. Jeez, come on. Yeah, something might be a little bit odd. I'm getting real. Yeah. I don't know. I might have to recalibrate this. Getting kind of weird lines. Pressure seems a little strange. Or my hand. Okay, unable to choose. He decided to remain neat. And they were the long forgotten kids versions of adult vices. Okay. Okay, so they were the long forgotten kids versions of adult vices. And unable to choose, he decided to remain neat. All right, wow. That is this week. Those are the cartoons for this week. And we streamed to 2 places, I think. I hope. Hopefully that worked. So we'll take a look at those. And so those will be archived both on Twitch and YouTube. So you can have a look at those at a later time. And it was almost an hour and 20 minutes. So that's it for this week. So thank you for watching. And if you would like to follow this cartoon on Twitter, @AbuseCartoons. AbuseCartoons.com is the main website. Twitch.tv/AbuseCartoons. Basically, Abuse Cartoons everywhere. And if you'd like to support this cartoon and turn it back into a daily cartoon, which was its original version in the early 2000s, please consider supporting me on Patreon. So it's patreon.com/AbuseCartoons. And there you can get signed books, original art, or just bring this back to a weekly thing to read and enjoy, and get it to your mailbox in advance. So thank you so much for joining me, and I will see you next week. Goodbye.